Okay, so in last class we did some set of kind of work and we were able to create object and class. We'll focus more on some important thing related to object creation, how actually object is created, where actually is the object is created, followed by understanding the garbage collection, Java variables type. So what I'll do is let's start. Okay, so what happens, as I've told you in the last class also, whenever we create any object, right, in our system, whichever system you have, that system has a random access memory RAM available. In that memory, Java, see what happens, I'll tell you. Whenever you run any Java application, right, whenever you run any Java application, the application or the program that you're running will consume some memory from your RAM. Okay. And that total memory will be divided into segments of memory. Each segment will have a specific work, like objects will be stored in a particular memory area. Local variable will be stored in a particular area. Instance variable, all or the static variable will be stored in a particular area. Method execution will take some memory area. So we have, which we will discuss in upcoming sessions in detail when we will be discussing about Java uh, memory architecture basically. So everything whichever needs some memory, like whenever we create a variable, local variable or instance variable, it will need some memory area because we are creating something. Similarly, when we create object, the object will take memory in Java heap. Okay, in Java heap. So whenever we create any object we create, let's say we are creating object for a test class. Let's say this is an object for test class. And this object is referred by a reference variables. Let's say the reference variable is obj. So this obj is pointing to this object which is created inside Java heap. Now, whenever any object will be created and it will be provided some memory allocation inside Java heap, every memory allocation in Java or in any programming language, or not in only in programming language, anything which consume any memory in your system, every memory area will have certain address. Okay, certain address, like let's say this address of this object is ABC123. So as soon as this object is created for test class, a memory allocation will happen. That memory allocation will have certain address. And this object is pointed by reference variable obj. Now reference variable will not be created inside Java heap. It, like reference variable are created in some other memory area which we will discuss in later classes. But this will be outside the Java heap, but this will be pointing to this object. This reference variable will be referring to this object. Now I have a question. If somebody asks you how this reference variable is pointing to this object or how this reference variable is referring to this object, the answer should be because when we create object, like let's say we are creating object for sample class, let's say here, we are creating object for sample class, right? So as I've told you in the last session also, whenever you see assignment operator, the execution will always happen first at the right hand side. So when the right hand side here will get executed, what will happen? When the right hand side will get executed, what will happen? Can anyone help me here? As soon as the right hand side will get executed, what will happen? Anyone? What will happen? Can someone answer, please?
Memory allocation Java.
Yes. So what will happen? Object will get created and a memory allocation will happen. Let's say the object that is created has some address. Let's say I'm saying the address is XYZ123. Then what will happen? After right hand side is executed, object is created inside Java heap. That object has an address. Let's say this. What will happen then? This object will be stored inside reference variable obj. So ultimately what this obj will contain? The address of the object that is getting created. Or we can say, so we can say here, obj contains the address of the object. Or we can say obj is referring to the object through the address. Is that okay? Clear? That's how the reference variable and the object will be related to each other. Clear? Is that okay? Any doubt? And if somebody is ask you where the object will be created, so we can say inside Java heap memory area. Is it clear? These 3 points you should remember. Any doubts here? Clear? Yes. Now, next thing that we need to understand is, in last session, I asked you one thing. Let's say I'm creating an object like this, and I'm creating object like this. What is the difference between these two approaches? If just by looking, if we see the difference, in the first approach, we can say here we have a reference variable. Here we don't have any variable referring to this object. Is it clear? Just by looking, we can say this is the difference. Correct. But functional wise, what is the difference? Functionality wise, what is the difference? Which approach is better? This is asked in the interview. If you have 2-3 years of experience, if you have, this kind of question will be asked. So if somebody asks you what is the difference, so just by looking, what we can say, the first approach has a reference variable. Like in the first approach, here the object has a reference variable. And in the second approach, we can say here we don't have any variable referring to the object. But functionality wise, what is the difference? What will you answer? What will you answer? Can anyone help me here? Anyone?
OBJ1 can be used multiple times, as you said last time, and new sample can be used only once because there is no object.
Exactly.
Doesn't
Now
have
I will,
reference anymore.
yes, yes, I will show you practically also, and then we will discuss which approach is better. Okay, like everything has a pros and cons. So we need to understand which approach is better, which approach we should use, which approach we should use in a particular scenario. Let's see. Now, just for an example, I'm creating a method here. Let's say the method is add method, where I'm not doing anything. I'm just printing add method of sample. Clear? Now, let's say I want to call this method, or let's say I want to execute this method. How can I execute it? How can I execute it? Can anyone tell me how can I execute this add method? Okay, forget about this. I'm in the main method. I'm just printing main method of sample class executed. Now, if I run this program now, what will happen? If I run this program, what will happen? What will happen if I run this program? Guys, I have one
Main
request.
main
I
method
have
of
one
sample
request.
class, it will print the message, right?
Yes. So what will happen? Main method will get executed, yes or no?
Yes. And main method, yeah. The line 5 will be executed.
Yes. Add method will get executed, yes or no?
No.
And no,
No.
no.
So if I just run this particular program for now, run as Java application, you can see only main method got executed. Add method is not getting executed. Can anyone tell me why add method was not executed?
Because you are not calling that add method inside the main method, right?
Okay. What else?
Yeah, the functionality, yeah, the object is not referencing to the add method in the
Yes.
main
So
method.
thing is, remember one thing. Only main method will be executed automatically in a Java program. Okay. Only main method will be executed automatically in a Java program. Any other method, if we want to execute, what we will have to do? We will have to
Read
call that method
yeah,
inside main method.
yeah.
Is it clear to everyone? And I have
Yes.
one request. I want everybody to be vocal. This has to be an interactable session. Otherwise, I would be in a dilemma whether you are understanding or not. Okay. So at least give us a thumbs up or you should speak up. Okay. I hope this is clear to everyone. Now, if I want to execute add method, can anyone suggest me? If you know, it's okay. If you don't know, it's okay. I will tell you how to call a method inside main method in upcoming, like I think tomorrow or day of like next Saturday we'll discuss about methods. So we'll discuss it. But can anyone tell me how can I call add method inside main method?
With the help of reference variable obj.add.
Not with the help of reference variable, with the help of object.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Don't say that we will call add method using reference variable. No, we will call a method using object. Okay. So let's say I have only one this is not there. Let's say how many objects I have created for now
Only
in this.
one.
How many objects are there that I'm trying to
Only,
create? Two.
yeah.
Line number 7, I'm trying to create one object.
Oh, yeah,
Line
no, no,
number
no.
8, I'm
Wait,
trying to
yeah,
create
sorry,
one
sorry.
object.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, my question here is, can I call add method using the object which I'm creating at line number 7? Can I call add method
Yeah,
using the object that we are creating at line number 7?
yeah,
How?
we can do that.
How can we do that? Simply, we will use this.
J1.add.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
So we used object created at line number 7 to call add method. Correct? Is this clear to everyone? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
Now, if I run this program, what will happen? See, first the execution of main method is started. First object will be created. Where it will be created?
Java hit mode.
Java.
Java heap.
So what will happen? As soon as line number 7 will get executed. So let me just. So this object is created for sample class. And as soon as line number 7 will get executed, object will be created inside Java heap. And we have assigned a reference variable also. So what will happen? There will be a reference variable which will be pointing to this object, yes or no.
Yeah.
Clear? Okay. Then what will happen? Line number 8 will get executed. What will happen when the line number 8 is getting executed? Can anyone tell me? What will happen?
Memory is allocated, but there is no reference variable.
So object will be created, yes or no, in heap? Yes.
Yeah.
Again,
Yes.
what will happen? An object will be created. Again, this object will be for the class sample only. But this object does not have any reference variable. Fine. Now line number 9 will get executed. This statement will get printed. So you can see this in the console that main method of sample class executed is getting printed. Now at line number 11, what we are doing? We are calling add method using which object?
Add method and a sample.
We are calling the add method using first object or second object?
First object.
First object.
First object.
So this method will be called, this statement will get printed. Correct? So here I can say that with this approach, I can reuse this object as many times as we want. Yes or no?
Yes.
Are we agree on this? Yes?
Yeah.
Now, my question here is, can I call add method using this object that we have created here?
No.
Second object. Can I call add method again using second object? Yes or no?
No.
What about others? Only two people are speaking up. Why?
No, because there is no object.
No, also.
No.
That does not.
Now tell me one thing. If I say new sample dot add, now hear me out. Am I using second object here to call the add method, or am I creating a new object here at line number 15?
New object is being created.
No object.
We are again creating
New
a
object.
new object. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are calling add also.
And we are calling add method. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
But the approach where we don't have reference variable, the drawback of this approach is with, I'll write it down here. With this approach, we will not be able to reuse this object. Yes or no? We can use, understand it. If you are creating an object without a reference variable, if we are creating object using without a reference variable, then that object can be used in the same line only. After that line, you will not be able to use that object, correct? Is it clear? Like in line number 10, I am creating object. Here I can use this object to do something like to call any method or something else. But as soon as line number 10 execution is done, can I reuse this method, object? No, I cannot reuse this object. So do you understand the difference? Do you understand the difference? If we have reference variable to an object, we can reuse that object. If we do not have any reference variable attached to the object, we cannot reuse the same object. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, which approach is better?
First one.
Why first one?
Usable.
These are reusable.
Yes.
Then we use
Okay. Any other answer? Which approach is better?
first effort, because in that way we don't have to create every time the new object. So one object reference will be creating the we call the method every multiple times. So we can reuse the same object for multiple purposes.
Also, that object can be used in other method also.
Yes. Remember one thing, somebody asks you which approach is better. What will you answer? You will say it depends upon the scenario. Now, let's say
Sorry to interrupt.
There is
I have a question.
yes, please ask.
Can you just go to paint? Paint. You go to paint. Now, can in Java heap same class means two objects are created right here over right? Two memory allocation there with the same class name. Can it is possible, right? Like a single class can have multiple allocations.
Yes. Now
Yes.
tell me one thing.
Mm.
Today, BMW launched a new vehicle, new car.
Okay.
Will they create only one car of
No.
that new? No,
No.
they will
No.
create multiple car
Mm.
depending upon the requirement.
Variants. Requirements.
If
Yes.
the requirement is there, they will make more car. Yes.
Yes.
We can create n number of objects of same class. It depends upon our requirement. Understood? There is no limitation, there is no restriction. But object creation has to be like you'll have to be mindful. Unnecessary, we should not create objects because objects consumes memory and that memory will be consumed in your system RAM. And RAM is not that big. We don't have, let's say, 500 GB RAM or 1 TB GB RAM. No, we have 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM, 48 GB RAM, something like that. So you have to be mindful and you should be careful while creating objects. Unnecessary, you should not create object. Is that clear?
Makes sense.
But there is no restriction. You can create n number of object for same class. It's okay.
One question, sir. Can we create a object with the same reference variable again and again? I mean, duplicate object with the same reference variable.
No, we cannot create.
So in that case, what will happen if
Now, so what will happen? Let's say I'll create another class. Okay, let it be like this. Let me create a test class. And in this test class, I will have a main method. Okay. Let's say I created test t is equal to new test. Then if I again say test t is equal to new test, we will get a compile time error. Why?
Because the reference variable is same for both the objects.
Duplicate reference variable. Variable name is duplicate.
Yes.
Because here we are trying to create new variable with same name. But if I remove this is okay. What we are doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
We remove the type, the class type, right?
Here we are not
Test.
declaring that this
Yeah.
variable t is a part of for class test.
First of all, tell me how many objects are we creating?
Two objects we are creating.
Two
Object,
object
yeah.
created.
And variable t is pointing to both objects or only one object?
It will point both the objects.
Both objects?
Yes.
Are we sure on that?
Yes.
Okay, let's try to understand it. Okay, I'll show you one example. Okay, it might not be that understandable to you guys, but I'll try to explain this. Okay. Sorry. Let's say again, we have a Java heap. This is Java heap. Okay. First of all, line number 8 will be executed, correct? What will happen when line number 8 will get executed? Again, assignment operator. Which side of assignment operator will get executed first, right or left?
Right.
Right. So what will happen when right hand side will get executed?
The object will be created.
Object will be created. So let's say an object is created for a test class. This is test class object. Do we have any reference variable attached to it? Yes. So what will happen?
Address will be.
So variable t set. Variable t is pointing to the first object. Yes or no?
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
So we created one object here and reference variable t is pointing to that object, correct?
Yeah.
Now what will happen? Line number 10 will get executed. Again, assignment operator. Which side will be executed first?
Right.
So what will happen?
Get great.
The object created.
A new object will get created, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So a new object will be created, something like this. This is a new object created for test class, correct? Now,
Mhm.
first of all, tell me, this object will have certain address, yes or no?
Yes.
Let's say the address is this, ABC123. Will this object will have same address?
Different address.
It will have, definitely it will have different address. Let's say the address is XYZ234. Correct? It
Mm.
has a different address, it has a different address. Now, when line number 10 will get executed, first of all, an object will be created. Now what we are doing, once the object is created, what are we doing in the left hand side? Okay, first of all, tell me, in line number 10, when the object, first object got created, what the variable t is holding? Address of the first object, yes or no?
Right.
Which let's assume is ABC123. Just assume it, correct? When line number 10 will get executed, what will happen? A new object will be created, correct?
Mm.
That object has an address XYZ234. And that address we are assigning where? In variable t.
Yeah.
So now variable t will have this. So now tell me, once the execution of line number 10 is done, which object variable t is pointing to?
The second
Not
one.
the second
Second
one.
one, exactly. Second one, not the first one. Second one. So at a time, a reference variable can point to one object only. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now it will start pointing to the second object, which means object first now don't have any reference variable. Is it clear?
So when you execute this, program, so basically we are creating the only one object, right?
Sorry,
So when you run this program, right? So basically the result gonna become one. There will be one object created, right? In the
there will
HTML
be
mode.
two objects, but reference variable is
But
only
yeah, reference variable will point to only one.
Yes.
clear.
So
Yeah.
Okay, now coming back to this, if somebody asks you which approach is better, what will you tell? Both approaches are good, depends upon the scenario. What are the scenario? If you know that there is a class for which I need an object to be created, and I know that that object I will be using multiple times, or that object I would need to use more than once, I will definitely go with the first approach where I have the reference variable. But there is a scenario where I know that I need to create an object of a particular class, but that object I will be using only once. Then which approach is better? Second approach. Why second approach? First of all, I know that the object will be used only once. So I will be using the second approach. The benefit is that I am not creating a reference variable, which definitely will save some space, correct? So when you know that there is a class for which you need an object and that object you are going to use only once, then you can use the second approach. But if you know that object you can use more than once, then you should definitely go with the first approach. But for us, when we create automation framework, we don't consume so much of memory. So you can always choose to use first approach. But personally, I am telling you, like I do use second approach whenever I know that I'm not going to use that object more than once. I do use second approach just to save the space. Is it clear?
Yes.
sir, one question. Whatever you said regarding the space, uh, can we somehow verify this space wala concept?
Space concept means?
I mean, like new sample, the line number 10, in this only one time we are using. After that use, we are not allocating the memory. But if we are creating the object through 7 line number, so we are uh, allocating a memory and it will be there. So
Yes.
can we verify this? Like,
No.
See, reference, see, what is a variable? Can anyone tell me what is a variable?
Variable can store any data.
So variable is a kind of container, right?
Yes.
Which will store some value. So for container to exist, that container will also consume some memory in your Java heap or in your memory area, RAM, or yes or no? Variable will also consume some memory. Object will also consume some memory. But in the second object, because we are not creating a reference variable, only object will consume the memory. Understood?
okay.
And in upcoming session, I'll show you, like when I will be taking the class for methods, I'll show you. Okay, don't worry. We will come to that point. Okay, when I will be teaching about method, please ask this question again. I'll show you. Like, I cannot show everything, like how much space it is consuming, but definitely I'll show you the memory address, how the addresses are different. Those things I will show you during method class. So please ask this question again that time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that being said, there is a concept known as garbage collection. Do you know what is garbage collection?
Uh,
Garbage
Mm.
collection.
when we are creating new objects,
Anybody have seen ever in their career? Anyone seen this exception, this error coming? Java.
runtime.
Uh, there is an error. What error is this? Java heap memory is full. Have you ever experienced this? Show you Java heap space error. Yes, this X error, out of memory error.
Yes.
Have you ever seen out of memory error ever in your life?
Out of
Anyone?
index, we have seen in the
Yeah, I'm
array.
asking this one, out of memory error. This
Out
is
of index is
what happens?
also.
No, that is exception. I'm asking this error. Have you seen?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Why it comes? Why it comes? 1 minute, guys. I'm getting up. So what happens? This typically comes in a development like a real application, not in automation framework, because automation frameworks are very small. What happens whenever a project is live? Nowadays we use cloud services, right? Our services are running on cloud service. Every cloud service will have certain memory area. So what happens? Java, if I talk about Java, we do create objects. We keep creating objects. We keep creating objects. And if objects are not getting destroyed automatically, and the RAM area is full, RAM memory is full, this kind of error comes, out of memory error. This primarily comes due to unnecessary creating objects. Do read about this. Okay, do read about this. You can Google about this java.lang.out of memory error and read about it when it comes. But this mostly comes when we are creating unnecessary objects and we are not destroying the object. These kind of error will come. That's why handling the objects carefully is very important. Is that clear? These kind of error used to come during C and C sharp, like C and C++ very frequently. In Java or in latest programming languages, the garbage collection is done automatically. During C, I'm not sure whether you remember or not. In C or C++, we were provided a command to delete the object. Like we have the option to create an object, and it was the job of the programmer to delete the object. That was during C and C++. But in nowadays, with programming languages, whatever we are using right now, to destroy the object, the job is automatically handled by the programming language itself. They have not provided that option to the developers. Understood? So what happens, understand, in Java, we have a garbage collector available. Now the job of garbage collector is to clean out the heap so that new objects can be created.
Yes.
And garbage collector is a part of JVM. So what happens? Garbage collector keeps looking whenever you run a program, whenever you run a program, Java collector will be active and it will keep looking for objects which are eligible for garbage collection, and it will destroy that object automatically. That is the job of garbage collector. Understood? So it destroys the object which are not in use or eligible for garbage collection.
So you are
Can you,
not sharing the screen.
sorry?
Your screen is not sharing right now.
I'm not sharing my screen.
It comes way out, way
Oh,
too
sorry.
automatic.
The notes are not visible. Yes.
Now is it clear?
Yeah.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying the garbage collection, it destroys the object which are not in use or eligible for garbage collection. So what garbage collector does it? Any object which is not in use or it is eligible for garbage collection, it will destroy the object. Understood? Now, any object is said to be eligible for garbage collection if there is no reference variable attached to it. Understood? Understood. So the object which does not have reference variable will be the objects which will be eligible by default to be get destroyed automatically, and garbage collector does destroy it, kill that object, and it clean out the heap memory. So that's why this approach is better in case if you want to use that object only once, because one point number one, it will consume less memory as we are not creating reference variable. Second, as soon as this line number 10 will be executed completely, this object will become eligible for garbage collection. Why? Because this object does not have any reference variable. So after the execution of line number 10, garbage collector will come to know that, oh, this object does not have any reference variable, which means it can kill this object. Is that clear? Is that clear? But object 1 will never be eligible for garbage collection. It will get destroyed only when the execution of this program is completely done. Is that clear? Understood?
Yes, sir. One
Yes.
question.
Yes,
Some
please ask.
few minutes back, you're saying that now programming languages have this mechanism of destroying the object by itself. They don't depend on the developers.
Yes.
So how they do it automatically?
Because I have told you, like if I talk about Java garbage collector, this
Okay.
object does not have any reference variable, it will destroy it. Now,
Okay, this is the
I will tell
language
you.
itself.
So what happens? The developers, good developer, what they do, once as soon as they come to know that there is one object which I don't know, I don't need anymore, they will make that object eligible for garbage collection. Good developers do that, because when we run a application on production, it will keep running until we never wants that application to be down, right? Nowadays, earlier we used to have our typical government website, they have a shutdown time. Okay, but nowadays application, like if you talk about Instagram, Facebook, Amazon, they don't want their application to be down. So what they do, like, see, second object is will automatically will become eligible for garbage collection, correct? We agree on that, because this object does not have any reference variable. But object first will not be eligible because it has a reference variable. And garbage collector will destroy only that object which does not have a reference variable. So can we make this this object eligible for garbage collection? Let's assume after line number 21, I know that the first object that I've created here, I don't need it anymore. So what I will do, I will make the object 1 eligible for garbage collection. How can I do that? Simple. What I will say? obj1 is equal to null. Finish. What I am doing here? What I am doing here?
Developer are forcefully
No,
writing,
what I am doing here?
destroying,
Array,
assigning zero value to
array,
reference.
null. What I am doing here? So earlier, object 1 was point. I'll create a new. Let's suppose again, this is Java heap. Inside this, there was a sample class object. Let's assume this was the object which was pointed by obj1. So basically, obj1 was having the address of this object. Now, after certain time, what I did, I said obj1 is equal to null. So before line number 23, obj1 was containing address of this, yes or no? Correct. Before line number 23, obj1 was containing the address of the first object, correct?
Correct.
What I did now at line number 23, I said obj1 is equal to now null. What is null? What is null? Null means nothing, which means now obj1 contains what? Nothing. Which means now obj1 does not contains the address of sample class object. Yes or no?
Correct.
Which means now first object does not have any reference variable and it automatically now becomes eligible for garbage.
Yes. Yes.
Although in automation, we don't create such huge program or application where these kind of out of memory error will come, but it is a good practice. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so take a 2-minute break. I'm coming back. Okay, guys. We'll discuss now. We will start with Java variables, how to create a variable, what are the type of variable, how do we create different type of variable, these kind of things we'll discuss. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm coming back.
Sir,
Yes.
I missed first session. So it started from the Java or means it will start from Selenium.
No, it will start from Java only.
Okay, how many classes for the Java and after how many classes Selenium will get start?
10 classes, like 8 to 10 class will be there for Java, and then we'll start with Selenium.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Any doubts? Okay, let's move ahead now.
One question again. You have said that if there is no enough memory, we are getting Java out of memory error, right? Exception. So how we will overcome of it if we're facing this issue?
We increase the memory area. It happens nowadays also because we are using cloud services. These kind of things will happen. So as a immediate solution to stop the bleeding, what we do, we increase the RAM size. That is configurable nowadays because we are using cloud services. Like it's very simple to configure to increase the memory area, and then we check what is the issue, where the memory leak is happening. It is it just the object or some other thing is there? Because memory leaking happens due to many thing, and these are something which we need to discuss in detail. If you want, I can provide you a document for that. But as an immediate solution, we typically increase the size of the memory. And then we check where the memory consumption is happening more. These kind of thing we do. Okay. Like not just in application, mostly it happens in database also. Like if you, I'm not sure whether you guys do like check these things in your application. So nowadays, like cloud, everything is running on cloud services, right? So database, they will keep consuming things. And after certain threshold, we will get kind of incident or pager alert will get that the memory is consuming more. So we try to first, if let's say 80% of your cluster is full or 90+% of your cluster is full, as an immediate thing, what we do, we increase the size and then we see why the database is consuming so much of memory. Those kind of things we do. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Now let's move ahead. Now we'll talk about Java variables in its type. Okay. Tell me one thing. As I've asked you again, what is variable? Variable is container which will hold some value. Simple as that. Now in Java, variable, this is a typical definition. You can read about it. Java variables are namespace of memory which stores the data. That's okay. For you, just understand we have some value which we want to store somewhere, and that somewhere is like that container is nothing but a variable. Okay. Now, what kind of variable we want depends upon what kind of value we have. How big variable we want depends upon how big value we have. Those things we'll discuss today. So there are primarily two types of variables in Java: primitive variables and non-primitive variables, which is also known as reference variable. Okay. Again, there are two types of variables in Java: primitive variables, non-primitive variables. Non-primitive variables are also known as reference variable. Now, reference variable are those variables which stores only address of an object. And this is user defined. Like, what is this variable? obj1. This is a reference variable, yes or no? And can I say something like this? Can I say obj1 is equal to 10? Can I do that? We are getting compile time error. Why we are getting error here? Why are we getting error here?
It is not compatible
Yes, it is not
value.
compatible. We cannot store anything other than the object. The reference variable can hold only address of this object. Yes or no? We cannot
Yes.
store these kind of values. So reference variable are nothing, are those variables which stores only address of an object. Clear? So if we come here, we'll discuss first non-primitive data type or reference variable. So non-primitive or reference data types are defined by programmer. So if you see this obj1, Is it predefined in Java or I have defined it?
You have defined.
I have created, because this sample class I have created, correct? So non-primitive data types are created by programmer. In this, the data type of the variable is the class whose object it is going to refer. Simple. And if we talk about primitive data types are defined by the programming language. These are integer type, floating type, character type, and Boolean. So if you see, we have int, we have float, we have double, we have char, we have Boolean. All these kind of data types are nothing but primitive data type. Primitive data type means the data types which are predefined by the programming language. Is that clear? So if somebody is asking what is primitive data type are predefined by language. Non-primitive data types are defined by the programmer. Is that clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes. Now we will discuss type of primitive data types, how we create it, what is the syntax rule that you need to understand, and these things we'll discuss now. Okay. So I'll create a new class for this. I'll say primitive data type. Okay, tell me one thing. We have integer type, we have floating data type, we have character type, and we have Boolean type. Now, can you tell me under integer type, what all data types are there? We have byte,
Int,
short,
byte, short, int, long.
int, and long. These are the four data types which comes under integer type. Integer type means if we are creating any of these kind of variables, we can store only and only non-decimal integer type value, correct?
Okay.
Which data types are there under floating type in Java? We have float and we
Double.
have double. So these two type of data types will hold only decimal point value. What we have under character type, we have char data type. And under Boolean type, we have a data type known as Boolean, which can store only true or false. So these are the four data types which are primitive in nature, predefined in nature. 4 integer, 2 floating, 1 character, 1 Boolean. What is string in Java then? Which type is string? Which primitive data type?
Non-primitive.
Non-primitive.
It is a class in Java. It is not a data type. In Java, string is provided as a class. It is not a data type in Java. Understood? We will discuss string in detail because string is most used like type of thing that we will be using in any programming language. But in Java, string is provided as a class, not as a data type. Is that clear? Any question here before we start understanding how to create a variable, how to define a type of the variable, which data type we should use or not? But in this, anybody have any doubt, please ask. Any doubt? Clear? Okay. Now, before we create any variable, what is the syntax to create a variable and assign a value to it? What is the syntax for that? Syntax to create a variable and assign a value to it, what is the syntax for that?
Variable name equals to variable value.
Hmm.
And what
So
kind of data
Data
type?
type.
Data type.
First of
data
all,
type.
data type space, then var name, then equals means assignment operator, and then value. This is the syntax, correct? Yes or no? This is the syntax. We
Yes.
first define the data type, then we provide a variable name, and then we will assign some value, correct? How do we decide what kind of data type we are going to use? If somebody asks you in the interview, how will you decide which data type to be used while
Depends
creating
on
the
the value.
Yes.
exactly depends upon the value. Okay, what data type we are going to use depends upon what kind of value do we have. Understood? Based on the value, we define the data type. And two things you will have to consider while creating a variable and while defining the data type. There are two things that you need to consider. The first thing is type of the value. Second thing is size of the value. Type of the value and size of the value. For an example, understand it. Let's say I have a laptop bag. Okay, typical laptop bag, backpack kind of laptop bag. In that laptop bag, I can store a mobile also. Correct? Yes or no? I can store a watch also. I can store a laptop also. Correct? Now, in a laptop bag, can I store a 40-inch TV? Or can I store a 50-inch, 53-inch TV? Can I store it? Not possible because of the size. The size of the value is bigger as compared to the size of the container, correct? Yes. Okay. Now I have a, let's say, a laptop bag. Can I store water inside the laptop bag?
No.
Why? What is the concern here? Type or size? Let's say I have half liter of water. I have half liter water. Can I store half liter of water inside a laptop bag? We
No.
should not store it. Why?
No.
Type of the value is not compatible with the type of the container. Or I can say the container type and the value type are not compatible. So what I'm trying to say, in Java or in any programming language from now onwards, whenever you are trying to create a variable, make sure that you consider two things: type of the value and the size of the value. Is that clear? The type of the value and the type of the variable should be compatible. The type of the variable should be sufficient enough to hold that size of the value. Is that clear? Clear?
Yes.
Okay, let's take an example now. Let's say I have a variable name, let's say I, and I want to store a value 10. What should be the data type here?
Int.
I can choose any of these four, right?
Int. Yes.
I can choose byte also. Why not
Yes.
byte?
Yes. Yes.
I can choose byte also. There is no error. Correct? Because both type of the value and size of the value are compatible to the type of the data type I'm using. Correct? Now, if I increase the size of the value, no issue. Let me increase it more. Now we are getting error. Why?
Because
No.
white have a
When it
range.
was 100, there was no error.
Yes.
When I increase it to 1000, we are getting error. Why?
It is out of range.
So
byte.
if I mouse over here, what it says type mismatch cannot convert from into to byte. Typically, the size of the value and the size of the variable are not compatible. Why?
Some
Okay,
limit
tell me
to
one
store
thing.
by
When
0
we
to
create
120.
when we create a variable of type byte, how much memory will be allocated to the variable?
minus 127 to 120.
That is the range. Now I'm asking about size of the variable for a byte variable.
8
3 digit.
bit, I think. 8 bit.
1 byte, 2 byte.
Okay, tell me one thing. How much memory is allocated to short, int, long? Byte we will discuss here. Short, long, int. Can anyone tell me how much size will be allocated to a byte variable? Can anyone tell me?
1 byte.
One
1
byte.
byte.
Byte means
8 bits.
8 bits, correct? How much will be allocated to short?
2 byte.
2 byte. For int, 4 byte. And for long,
8
8
for
bytes. Now, if we convert 1000 into what we say into 0101 format, what we call it, Boolean value, right? Or what we call it here,
Binary.
binary value. So if I see here, convert 1000 into binary, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is getting out of 8, more than 8 bits, right? If we convert 100 into binary, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 100 is within, like, we can store 100 into binary value into 8 bits, yes or no? Because see, in memory, every value will be stored in a binary format only. In memory, whenever values will be stored in the memory area, first of all, the values will be converted into binary only because our memory does not understand decimal point value. Our memory understand only binary values. Digital electronics during college days, if you remember. So 100 is okay. It is within 8 bits. Like when we convert 100 into bits, binary, it is 8 bits. If I try to convert 1000, it will be more than 8 bits. That's why the out of range issue comes. That 1000 is not within the range of byte. So that's why I'm telling you, you should make sure the size of the value and the type of value should be compatible with the data type that you're using. Is that clear? Now, if we talk about range, what is the range? What is the range? I do not remember, but the range
Minus 128 to
20.
127.
Like I can store 127. It's okay. The moment I will increase it by 1, I will get error. Because maximum value that I can store in a byte type of variable is maximum value is 127. Minimum value is minus 128. If I use minus 129, again out of range, because I cannot store minus 129 into 8 bits. So that's the range, but you don't need to be worried about it. Typically, you should use int. But for interview purpose, if somebody asks you, you should remember these kind of thing. Why this range is there? Okay, if I ask you why maximum 127 only I can store in a byte, why? What will be your answer? Why maximum 127 only I can store? Why not 128 I can store in a byte variable?
I
What?
think the same answer which you explained, like in the
Yes, if I
bit wala.
convert 128 into binary, see how many bits it convert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is 8. Then why we are not able to store it? Tell me. Or if I say minus 129 into binary, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is also 8 bits only. Then why it does not allows?
One is stored for sign, I think.
Ah, good. So when we, let's say, if just let me talk about only byte, I will take this example only for byte. This is not that useful, but you should understand it. 1 byte memory means 8 bits. Let me create 8 bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8 bits. Okay. The leftmost is used to define the sign of the value, whether the value is negative or positive. So typically to store the value, you have 7 bits only. The leftmost will be used for signed, whether it is a negative value or positive value. So typically out of 8 bits, you have 7 bits only to store. This is digital electronics concept. This is not Java concept. Understood? This is digital electronics concept. This is not related to Java. This applies to everything because everything will be ultimately stored in memory. And that's how memory works. So that is the reason. Okay, you can read about it more, but the leftmost bit will be used to define the sign. Clear? 1 means negative, 0 means positive, I believe. I'm not sure, but that was the thing. So typically 7 bits will be there to store the value. So that's how the thing happens. This is completely digital electronics concept. You don't need to be worried about it. But what I'm trying to say, if you can use, if the type of values is small, try to use smaller data type. Do not waste memory. Good developers, they try to save the memory as much as they can during their coding. That's a good practice. Understood? Now, what is the range of short? It is minus 332, 768 to 32, 767, something like this. Rest I don't remember. Okay, but you can read about it, go over Google. Okay. Is it clear? Okay. Now somebody asks you, I am trying to write something like this, byte b is equal to 128. I am getting error. What is the solution to resolve this error? What will you tell? What is the solution?
Change the data type.
Yes, increase the size of the variable, correct? Increase the size of the variable. How can we increase the size of the variable? By changing the data type. So either I can use short, or I can use int, or I can use long. But again, do not, waste the space memory. Try to save it as much as you can. Clear? Okay. Now I have a question. If I say I am getting error, why I am getting error? Out of range, correct? Yes. Right. Yes. Now see the error and read it. Read the error properly. What it says? What is saying?
It is saying for upcast, right?
No, no. Casting is the solution. I'm saying what is the error you are getting here? Cannot convert from int to short. What does it mean? What does it mean? Cannot convert from int to short. What does it mean?
Means the value that we have assigned, it is a kind of int, right? So we can't store in a sort variable. In
How
sort,
compiler? Okay, my question is how compiler comes to know that the right hand side value is an int value?
Because int has larger range than sorts.
No, that is not the answer. Okay,
Downgrade.
okay.
Is not
One minute.
allowed in
No,
Java.
no, no, no. One thing. Now read the answer. Sorry, read the error. What it says? Cannot convert from int to byte. What does it mean? What can we conclude from this?
Means the numerical value what we are taking, the compiler is considered as an int value.
Why? Because remember one thing. In Java, numeric values, or I can say in Java, non-decimal values are by default considered
As integer.
as
Okay.
int. Remember this. Remember this for lifetime. In Java, every non-decimal value, whether it is a negative value or a positive value, by default in Java, non-decimal values are considered as int in nature. Is that clear? Is it clear? Remember this. Okay. So the solution here is to increase the size. Fine. So that's how we create a byte variable. That's how we create a short variable. Now let me try to create an int variable. Very simple. I can say something like this. This is within the range of this. Now let me increase the size. It is still accepting it. Let me increase the size. As soon as I increase size more, now we are getting error. Now if I see here what it says, what it says, what it is saying.
Out of range.
Out of range. It is not saying cannot convert from long to int. Understanding?
Yes.
It is not saying cannot convert from long to int. Because as I've told you, in Java, numeric values, non-decimal numeric values are by default considered as integer. Here it is saying out of range. It is not saying cannot convert from long to int. Do you understand now? So here, still this value is considered as int only. And because compiler knows the range of the int, it is saying me out of range. Do you understand the significance of this statement? So remember, in Java, non-decimal values are by default considered as int in nature. Clear? So here, what should we do now to solve this problem? We will have to increase the size of the variable. Correct? Guys, what
Correct.
will I do? I will convert into long.
Long.
Still the error is there. I want correct answer. Why still the error is there? Don't give me a solution. I don't need solution. I want the reason why this error is still there.
Again, it is considered as integer.
Yes, this will always be considered as integer.
Yes.
Tell me the reason what is happening here. I will give you a treat. Whosoever gives me a good correct answer, I will give you a treat.
So, sir, as like we know that in Java by default everything is the integer. So compiler will this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 is the by default it will consider the even though we our data type is long, but compiler is considering as a int only. So that's why it is giving this.
Okay, so my question to counter question, why compiler is not looking at the data type of the variable? Because I have defined the data type, right?
So, sir, here the word as per the program Java is considering it int only. Now we have to tell the compiler. Now our word is not my number is beyond the integer. So we have to explicitly tell him that now it is not integer, it is a long by some way by adding something.
Okay, you are almost there. Thing is understand here. See, I can teach Java for 6 months, but I don't have that much time. But I love Java and I love the details about Java. Not just Java, I can teach Python also for 6 months. To understand the each specific detail, understand it. Again, what is this? What is this?
Assigned of
Assignment operator. Which side of assignment operator will be executed first?
Right
right.
side.
Right side, correct. What is happening here is, understand it very carefully. Compiler went to the right hand side because here it is an assignment operator, which means right hand side will be executed first. For compiler, what kind of value it is?
Integer.
Int, correct. And this is beyond the range of int, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, this is
Yes.
beyond, out of range of int, correct.
Yes.
So what is happening? Compiler is not at all looking at the left hand side. The error is thrown at the right hand side only. Compiler is not looking at the right hand side, left hand side. What compiler is doing? For compiler, this is a int value and this is more than the range of int value. So compiler is not looking at the left hand side. For compiler, this is a int value and bigger than the int value range. That's why the error is coming. So you will have
So
to tell compiler that look at the left hand side only. What kind of variable we have? Understand? So compiler is not looking at the left hand side at all. If compiler would have been looking at the left hand side, this would have been allowed, because in a long variable we can store it. But compiler is not looking at the left hand side. Why? Because right hand side is still not executed or it is not compilable. So you will have to tell compiler, buddy, I know this is out of the range of int, but consider this value as a long, because in left hand side I have a long variable. So you'll have to tell compiler, okay, buddy, this is not an integer value now. I know this is out of range, but consider this value as a long now. And for that matter, what I'll have to do, I'll have to append a suffix L. Clear?
sorry, no question. One question I have. So it's like compiler when it compile the program. So the point at which he found any error, it will stop compiling further lines, right?
Yes, 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 yes. No, compiler will compile the whole program. See, compilation happens at once. Execution happens at line by line. So it will compile the whole file, and wherever compiler error is there, everywhere you will get the error. It's not that particular line. Like if I do this,
So sir, if here on the right hand side
and
compiler
first
found,
see, byte b is equal to 130, 130. At line number 24 also you're getting compile time error, right?
okay.
So it does not means compiler will stop compilation at line number 22. No, compilation happened at once. Whole file will be compiled, and wherever is the compiler error, compile time error, the error will be shown to you. When we
Okay.
execute the program, that program will be happening line by line. Understood?
Yeah.
So
As
what?
you said, I thought you're saying that on the left hand side it found
No,
the
no,
error. That's where the right side is found the error, so it did not check on the left hand side. I thought it stopped
no,
checking.
it does not stop.
Yeah.
This is clear. You'll have to tell explicitly this is a long value. Now I have a question. What is happening here? What is happening here?
We are storing 1, 2, 3 into long variable.
But for compiler, this value still says it is a int value only. And this is within the range of int. That's why compiler was satisfied here. And when compiler looked at the left hand side, it was a long variable. Long variable can hold this value. That's why compiler was satisfied at both left hand side and right hand side. Understood?
Yeah.
Clear? That's how thing work. Okay. So this is very simple. How can we create now? How can we create a float value? How can we create a float variable?
In decimal form.
Float f is equal to 100.5. I'm getting an error. Why? Okay, first of all, tell me for a float, how much memory will be allocated? 4 byte. And for a double, 8 byte.
Right.
Now tell me why this error is there. Not just
Same
this.
here.
0.
The same.
Still the error is coming. Why?
After digit, you have to put a F.
That is the solution. I am asking reason why this error is coming.
The same, the above line which we have explained, like a non-decimal value,
Yes.
considering as a int and then trying.
This is decimal value, bhai. This is a decimal point value. I am using decimal point. Yes or no? I can store an integer value here. No issues. See. 10.
But then any decimal, so any decimal values that are default be considered as a float then.
No, if it
No.
would have been considered as float, it would not throw any error. In Java, decimal values are by default considered as double. Clear?
Okay.
Whether the value is 0.0, it will be considered as double. And double is a bigger value as compared to float. Yes or no? Double needs 8 byte. Although
Yeah.
this is small, like 0, but still the error is coming. Why? Because type of the value and data type is not matching. Not the issue here is type or size. Tell me that.
It's a type.
Type.
Type. The issue here is type, not size. Type is not compatible. See, cannot convert from double to float. Because in Java, decimal point values are by default considered as double.
Yeah.
And double cannot be stored in a float variable. So here the issue is not size, the issue is type. Understood? So you'll have to tell compiler that this is a float value. Consider this value as a float by adding a suffix f. Clear? Is it clear?
Yeah.
If this would have been a double variable, we will not get any error because type is also double, size type of the value is also double, and type of the variable is also double. But if I convert this to float, the type of the value is double, the type of the variable is float, not compatible. Clear? Clear?
Yeah.
Open YouTube and try to find this concept. It will take you 1 year to find a video where this kind of things are explained. I know this is very basics, but in my personal experience, I have faced such kind of interview where these kind of questions were asked when I had less experience, when I had 3-4 years of experience. I have faced this kind of questions. I have failed in this kind of interviews. And that's why I tell you, please read this book. I'm not sure whether I have shared that book or not. Just let me give you that book link. Just a minute. I'm not sure that book I have or not.
You have shared the link, but you are not shared that PDF, right?
Yeah, I will share the link again. Let me share. Java by Kathy Sierra. Please read about this book. Please read this book. This will make you pro Java. This will clear every Java concept of yours. Everything. Concept wise, you will be clear. And when you are clear with concept, practical becomes very easy. So I'm sharing this link again. Please read this book at least once. At least once. This book will have assignment also. Okay, please read about it. I'm sharing this link here. Just download it right now if you can.
So by
Kathy Sierra solution. It has solution also, I think, at the end. You can just download and read about it. I think at the end solution is also provided, or you will find many websites where solutions are there. So you can read about it. And this is very good link. You can find a number of books here, like Android, Java, and many things are there. You can read about it.
So without Git account, I cannot download this book.
You can download it. I just
You can
downloaded it.
download. It's the free.
If you
The
do not
open.
have GitHub account,
You can without Git also you can download.
Yeah. Just
Let me
copy the link and paste it, or you directly can open the link.
see. I have not signed up. I can download it. See, I can download it. You will be able to download, but you should have a GitHub account. You must create a GitHub account.
Okay.
Understood? So that's how we create a float variable. If you want to create a float variable, whatever value you assign, you'll have to add a suffix f, whether it is capital or small does not matter. Okay. And how do we create a double variable? Double d is equal to points. It's okay. How do we create a character value char inside a double quote? Char can store single character inside single quote. If I try to provide multiple character, I will get error. And how do we define Boolean value? Boolean is equal to, either we can store true or we can store false only. Only these two values are allowed inside a Boolean variable. Any doubt here, please ask. Before we move into very interesting topic, which is string concatenation. Any doubt here? Okay. Now I have some interview questions. Question 1. Can I store non-decimal value in float or double? Is that allowed? Can I do it? Like, can I store as something like this?
Yes.
Float,
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Yes, we can.
we can store, right?
Mm.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I store a decimal point value inside int or long?
No.
No.
Not. But when you try to print it, right? Remember, it will be considered decimal. I'll show you. See, if I try to print the value of f1, it will be printed in decimal point only. See,
100.0, yes.
ultimately, it will be converted into decimal point value. Here, question number 2. Can we store 1 or 0 in a Boolean variable in
No.
Java?
No.
Like
I
in
think,
C, we can do, right? C, C++.
yeah,
I think in Python also, not I
but
think.
not in Java, I guess.
In Java, this is not possible. Like
No.
if I do Boolean
Either true.
One.
1, I will get error. What error will we get?
Either it is true or false.
No, I'm asking what error will you see when I mouse over?
Cannot convert from
Convert,
into
convert.
bool.
Cannot convert from int to
Bool.
Boolean.
cannot convert from int to Boolean, because for Java 1 means integer value.
Integer.
Simple. Question 3. Question 3. Can we store non-decimal values in char data type? Can we do that?
No.
No.
No or yes?
No. Because non-decimal is the integer. So how can we integer into
Yeah.
correct?
Just do 1, 2, 3, something. Yeah. Huh?
Why is it allowed?
Oh, okay. 90 means something.
Hexadecimal code it will
Hexadecimal
store.
code, yeah. Convert it automatically, I guess.
Why is it allowed?
Hexadecimal code of this 90 will be
Java.
stored.
In Java, by default, this number, the character is automatically changed to the hexadecimal
90
value.
for Java is int value, right?
Mm.
And the data type is char. How is it allowed? How is it allowed?
Sir, if you print, then it will print the hexadecimal number of 90 because hexadecimal is the character. I think.
ASCII value it will store.
Exactly. It will convert to ASCII value.
Sorry, ASCII value, not hexadecimal.
So if you remember the ASCII chart, ASCII table. This is the table. So from 1 to 127 you can store. But that number will not be stored. Rather, what will happen? The respective character value will be stored. Understood? Understood. Like I tried to store 90. For 90, what is the ASCII character? Capital Z. Understood? What will happen if I say, let's say I'm saying 123. So this curly braces should be there if I try to print. Curly braces. Understood? Clear? Interesting, right? So these kind of basics question can be asked related to primitive data type. Okay. Now next, very interesting topic, which is string concatenation. Concatenation. String. How do we create a string variable in Java?
By two ways. Either
Huh?
you can, either we can directly create a string.
We will discuss this in detail in next session. Okay. For now, I have a question for you guys. I have string s1 way.
String literal, right?
I have one more string variable which is 2. One more variable s3 which is automation. Okay. What will happen if I simply print s1?
Way.
Tell me what will be printed.
I think S1 and S3 is not different, right?
Way will be
Fine, right?
printed.
Way, it will print way only.
Oh yeah.
Way is getting printed. What will happen if I print s2?
Two.
True.
What will happen if I print something like s1 comma s2?
Way two.
Way two.
No. That's it. That
Compile
is
time
very,
error.
yes.
Always
Java, this is not allowed, right?
Yeah.
This is not allowed. What will happen if I do something like this?
Way two.
Way two.
Way two. If I say something like this, then what will be printed?
Way two automation.
Automation. What exactly is happening here?
Concatenation.
We are
Concatenating.
string concatenation is happening, right?
Mm.
We are concatenating the strings. Adding, like, not adding, we are concatenating the strings among themselves, right? Correct. So this is very important concept. In Selenium, string concatenation will be used multiple times. Multiple times. We need to understand it very carefully. Okay? Clear?
Mm.
Yes.
Tell me one thing. If I print something like this, what will be printed? Same way will be printed, correct? And if I do something like this,
Way two.
Mm.
if I do something like this,
Way five.
Way 5 and then automation.
Way 23 automation.
Way 2-3 automation.
Way 23 automation. Some few people are saying
5. Okay.
way 5 automation. See the output.
I think way 23 also. Yeah.
Okay.
What is happening here? Way 23 automation, this is getting printed, right? Why?
It just concatenates.
Evaluation will happen from left to right. So way is the string. Then
So
to
concatenation is happening here. Now, how concatenation works? Like if I change this statement, right? If I say 2 plus 3 plus way, then what will happen?
5 automation.
5-way automation. So we need to understand string concatenation in detail, which we will discuss in next, like tomorrow's session, right? So tomorrow what we are going to discuss is we will be discussing about string concatenation, and then we'll discuss about the operators in Java. Java operators. First we'll cover string concatenation and then we'll start with Java operators. Okay. But we'll do it tomorrow. That's for today, guys. Video will be uploaded in the portal. This code I will be sharing on the WhatsApp group. Also, this code will be uploaded in the portal itself. Okay. So that's for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, I have one
Yes.
question. So
Yes.
for strings, right? I always have the question that why strings are immutable, right? So we cannot add or update in Python we can do that, but in Java we cannot do that. So that concept I'm waiting for that to clarify my question.
So we will discuss string class in detail.
Okay, sure.
So there we'll discuss it. Don't worry
Okay.
about it. Okay. This is a valid thing and this is very common interview question. Why string is immutable? Explain me that. Show me that it is immutable. So we'll discuss it in detail. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So that's for
Sir,
today. Yes.
sir, every class session duration will be 8 to 9:30.
8 to 9:45, sometime 10 also.
Okay.
Like minimum 1.5 hour, minimum. Maximum 2
Okay.
hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the session. Please go through the recording again before coming to tomorrow's session. And the book that I have shared, that PDF, read it. Take 2 months, 3 months, but read about it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Take care. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.